back. You have before you in fact, the 5 paper journals from which I picked my swatches. The first one is the Tomo River 52. No, this is the 68 gram. Actually, it's much thicker. This other one, which is a crossfield, is where I picked my 52 gram Tomo River paper. The middle one, the black one, is the Stalogy. That's the one that I like, and we'll see how it all performs. Then I have my just a standard Rhodia notebook, white and not cream version. Rhodia, makes all kinds of products. And finally, I have my Cosmic Air Light, which was supposed to be the one taking over Tomo River. I'll get into that eventually. So those are my five notebooks from which I picked my swatches. And what I did is I cut out swatches from each, and I'll show you. So now we have the 5 swatches that I've taken from each of the journals, just stapled them on a piece of paper. The first one, my Tomo River 52. The second one is the Tomo River 68. The third swatch is my Stalogy journal. The fourth one comes from my Rhodia notebook. And the last one comes from my Cosmic Air Light. So those are the swatches, and now we're ready to begin with the first ink that I've chosen, which is this Cross Violet ink, which is a really, really nice ink that should be able to give us some very interesting shading, and we'll get right to it. So let's start. As far as the pen is concerned, I've chosen my Rosetta. It gives me that purplish look. Fine pen, large size, and I should be able to get some very nice line variation with the nib here. The nib is a 1.5 Jo-O nib with the Rosetta inscription on it. I think we're really all set. The next step is to take my brass ink applier, if you will, and we can start the first swatch on my Tomo River 52 gram. We'll lay it down nice and thick, and this will take a little bit of time to dry, but at least we're as you can see, it's coming down very nicely, and as it dries, you'll be able to see some line variation or color variation in the ink. So this is my Tomo River 52 gram. So that's the thinner version, and of course it's the Cross Violet. So that's the first swatch. For the second swatch, get some more dipping here, and we'll lay it down just as thick. Just hold on to the paper, Vince, so that it doesn't all slip away. Oh, I ran out of a little bit of ink, but that should be fine. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And just get my pen. So this is the Tomo River 68, and we're looking at Cross Violet. You're starting to see some signs of the sheening in this ink as the ink dries. So this is my third swatch. And you'll be able to tell the difference, especially with this this third swatch, which is my Stalogy. It comes down really nice. When you write on it, you feel like you're writing on Tomo River, but we'll see the final results are quite different. So that's my third swatch. Now we can proceed to ink the pen again to do my fourth. And here, you can definitely feel the slip. I mean, here with the Rhodia paper, it's slippy. You can tell there's almost no. Let me just dip that a little more. Here we go. Yeah, that's Rhodia. So the Rhodia, and it's the white notebook as opposed to the cream. And once again, we're dealing with the cross violet. Starting to pick up some, as the ink dries, especially on the Tomo River, you're starting to see some sheening there, which you don't see with my Stalogy as the whole thing dries up. And finally, on my Cosmo Air Light, I think you'll be able to see some variation here as well, similar to the Tomo River, but the paper is much coarser and just doesn't have the same feel. So this is my Cosmic. It's Cosmo Air Light. Cross. And it's violet. So there we have the five violet swatches, and we'll let that dry up and see how quickly that will change on us. You're starting to see on the Tomo River 52 grams some sheening, some brown, darker sheening that you can also pick up in the Tomo River 68, although not as much. Stalogy is pretty constant. You can see that there's very little when it comes to the Stalogy cross, when it comes to the cross ink on the Stalogy. On the Rhodia, same thing, very little, or much less, put it this way, much less. So we'll let that dry up quickly and we'll be right back. So we're going to run that in fast motion and see how the ink slowly but surely dries up. And we can definitely see the differences in the 5 swatches, where you have the Stalogy that has absolutely no sheening of any sort, as compared to the 2 Tomo River. You just dry up Cosmic Air Light, and you can see that the Cosmic Air Light has given me shading. Okay, let's proceed to the next swatches. First of all, the ink. It's a greenish blue ink, 3 oysters, marine green. So it's a marine green, very nice bottle. Excellent, just an excellent ink. It has that little indentation so you can bend it and put it on its sides when you're running out of ink and you need to get down to its last ounces. Here's the pen. It's my Bexley green purple swirl pen. Bexley makes excellent pens. It's a larger sized pen. Look at the beautiful resin. Once again, the nib that I've chosen is a 1.5, and it's a Edison nib. Nice smooth nibs made by Edison. They're Jowo nibs, but they're all fine-tuned by Edison when they come out of the factory. So that's the pen. So let's take a look at we'll start with the first swatch. Get my brass pen here, wash it up a little bit, get rid of the purple that we just inked up, and we should be ready to go. So this one, the first swatch on my, once again, my Tomo River, the thinner version, the 52 gram. Beautiful ink. Nice marine. give us some line variation. Okay, so this is my Tomo River 52. Once again, the ink is the 3 oysters. And it's the green. So that's the first swatch, and you'll see it dry up, and you're going to be able to see the differences, especially with the stalogy. So this is my second Tomo River, the thicker version. It's the 68 gram. Okay, we've got quite a bit there. And get my Pexley pen. Tomo River 68. 3 oysters. Beginning with the stalogy, swatches, beginning with the stalogy, swatches, beginning with the stalogy. Now we're going to finish up with the Rhodia White, and my last one, Cosmic Air Light. And then we'll set it all down in fast motion, and we'll see the drying of the ink, and we start to see appearing that color sheening, touches of red and pink in both the Tomo River. It's evident. Little bit in Cosmic Air Light in the thicker patches. Same with Rhodia, although it's a little more diffused. And very, very little red sheening in my stalogy. And that's typical. Stalogy writes nicely. It's fountain pen friendly, no doubt, but you just don't get the same color sheening. It doesn't pop out as much. Definitely with the stalogy, you see, and the Rhodia as well. Rhodia is a fine paper to write on, but as you can see, it just doesn't give you the sheening that the Tomo River does. So I think we'll blot it up here just so that everything dries up, and proceed with the next. Okay, let's go ahead with the next swatch. Red ink from Montblanc. This is a very fine ink, William Shakespeare Velvet Red. This one has a tendency to dry up a little quicker, and when it does, as it dries, the color changes. It goes from a kind of more of a brownish red in its drying stage. The pen I'm using is my Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Prune. It's a prune color. You can see the chatoyancy on this pen is just fabulous. Momento Zero, classic. One of their newer resins, if you will. You can see the nib is just a fabulous nib. It's a 1.1 nib, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's the new nibs that Leonardo started to use. They started with the Bach nibs and then went to Jowo, and this is a Jowo nib. Very nice pen. So that should give us some thicker lines as well. So if we can, what we'll do is we'll try to speed things up. Into our swatching. So we start with the first one, and you can see nice and red, and then it turns brown on us. So that's the Tomo River 52 gram. And we'll see how things change. The next one is my Tomo River, the 68 gram. And putting down nice and quick. The stalogy, that gives you kind of a flatter, should give you a flatter result as well. The Rhodia, a little bit better than the stalogy, but not much better. And then we go to my Cosmic Air Light, which is very similar to my Tomo River. And if we line them all up and watch the ink dry, You can see that the red slowly becomes darker as the ink begins to dry, and you don't have an enormous amount of sheening in this particular ink. We'll proceed to blot out some of the wetter surfaces, and that should give us a final look. Okay, I've spared you the just the swatching, just to take a look at this final ink that I've used. It's the ink is the Colorverse Supernova, and as you can see, the Supernova is a wonderful ink, by the way. It has quite a bit of sheening. In fact, you can see that even the Stalogy paper, as it dries, has a little bit of red sheening. You can definitely see it in the Tomo River versions, the two, and in the Cosmic Air Light. But for the ink to sheen even on Stalogy, it means it's got quite a bit. And Supernova Colorverse is probably one of my favorite blue inks. It's, as you can see, it's a nice deep blue. You can, an everyday writer, if you will. You can see it even in the Rhodia as the Rhodia is drying. There is some of that red sheening. You can definitely see it in the Cosmic Air Light. Obviously, that's for sure. That's it. That's it for the swatching. So I hope you enjoyed this, and you can tell the differences in the different paper. And please go out, try them, buy them, try out your inks, enjoy it, and enjoy all that sheening. See you in your next video.